Final week of the regular season as the Bears come home for senior night, the final game against a district opponent as Wilton comes to town. Our weekly preview presented by the Browns West Branch family of dealerships. And Jason, playoffs are locked up, but still got something to play for after losing to Iowa City Regina last week for this Bears team.
Yeah, and I think they learned a lot of lessons in that game, don't you? I mean, they got to feel what it was like to be in a game that, first of all, just a lot of energy and emotion, but they also got to be in a game again for once. I mean, they've been leading a lot of the last 3-4 weeks, other than Minneapolis, with not much challenge. So they got to feel that. The young kids got to feel that rivalry, and they got to feel that emotion and everything that comes with it. So, but Friday, this is the playoffs starting right now.
Yeah, I mean, looking back a little bit at that Regina game, started well. There was some good things. There was some not so good things. And it was one of those where, kind of a woulda, coulda, shoulda. Felt like we were close in a couple of situations, but just missed on one step here or one penalty there. And unfortunately, you do that with a good team like Regina, and you're going to come up on the wrong side of that win-loss column.
And that's going to be the way everything going forward, too, because every team they play from now on is either fighting for a playoff spot or they're going to be in the playoffs, and they don't want to make those mistakes that we're making back in week 1 and week 2, and you're not going to see it as much going forward.
Yeah. Well, you talk about fighting for a playoff spot. Wilton comes into town, started the year 4-0, lost a couple of games. They get a win by forfeit last week against Liza Muscatine, but the way things are shaped up right now, they're basically win to get in, win and almost get second in the district, lose, and they might not even make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think if they win, Wilton is your number 2 seed. West Branch will be the number 3 seed, and we'll go from there. If they lose, they are hoping that Durant can keep it close with Regina on Friday. If they can keep it from 10 points and down, even if they lose to West Branch, then they've got a chance to make it in. But I tell you right now what Wilton's number 1 goal is. They aren't coming in here to play let's wait and see what happens. They're coming here to knock West Branch off the podium at the Little Rose Bowl on Friday night.
Yeah, and they've been in some close games. They know what it's like to be in a game all season long. They've gone back and forth with several different teams, and they're coming in about 250 yards that they get a game, about 250 they give up. They score about 20, 25. They give up about 20 or 25. So they're kind of a balanced both ways kind of team that it's going to be an interesting, fun challenge for this Bears team.
I think there are a lot of similarities between the two teams. First, the guys up front are huge for their team. West Branch is pretty big up front, too. They aren't going to wow you down the field with 150, 200 yards passing a game, but they are going to run the football. West Branch is going to run the football with Andy Hinson. They're going to run it with Carver Belk. Wilton's going to run it with Jackson Hull, who's had a couple of games around 200 yards. He's just had a very consistent, a very good season behind that big offensive line.
Yeah. And situation, too, where, those big guys up front, they're also big guys over on that defensive side. So our big offensive line, it's going to be a challenge and a test to get them working and be able to see if they can spring Andy and Carver for some of those bigger gains.
And who knows what kind of a quagmire the field conditions are going to be around eastern Iowa on Friday night, specifically after getting 2 inches of rain yesterday. And you can tell from the practice field behind us, it still hasn't dried yet. And unfortunately, the Little Rose Bowl has not been at its best. But it's going to see a really good football game on Friday night. Win, lose, draw, rain, sleet, snow, anything. There'll be 2 teams playing for a lot on the line.
Yeah, and it's senior night, so 8 seniors going to get recognized. They've kind of small in numbers, but big in what their impact has been for this program.
And we've talked about it a lot this year, how between the junior and the senior class, there are only 15 kids. Can't recall in my lifetime it's ever been that small. And with 8 kids in the senior class, and pretty much every single one of them is participating and really helping to ignite this team to do what it has done this year in different ways. It's a very important class, and they really deserve people to come out and give them some props, as the kids would say, and say thank you for your commitment and how you've helped out West Branch football.
Well, those senior night festivities, those seniors being recognized starting about 6 o'clock. Depend on how long that PA announcer takes. Hopefully we'll be on the air with the Bearcast. We'll cover that, and then we'll go into our pregame coverage from there. 6:30 or so. 7 o'clock will be the kickoff from the Little Rose Bowl, Butch Peterson Field, Oliphant Street, all of that other stuff. So
historic downtown West Branch.
Yeah. Big thank you to the Browns West Branch family of dealerships sponsoring these weekly previews each and every week right here at westbranch.football.